That portal, she keeps popping, and we keep being surprised.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama, AHSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson, that's me. Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein, that's him. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. We'll talk about Game Time here in just a little bit. I want to thank you everydayers for joining us every day because you have helped make Locked On the #1 sports podcast network there is, which is incredible. Thank you guys so very much. And thank you for all of you having your patience yesterday. Jimmy and I went live last night because we couldn't do one yesterday morning, and you guys are the best. So, Jimmy, the portal, I just wrote a few names down to talk about. And some of these are Alabama adjacent.
Okay.
I just thought it'd be fun to talk about a few of them like this. First of all, Jordan Seaton is in the portal. And the first thing that every single message board did was go, write him a blank check. And I'm talking about every message board for every team ever.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Chargers and the Patriots, everybody. So I don't know that I don't believe Alabama will be involved here. I mean, just based on money alone, I think he's going to command all the money. And so my guess is that's going to be a Miami, Oregon thing. What do you think?
I think he might be the most expensive non-quarterback of all time in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Alabama would be involved. Again, we talked about just last night, Luke, that Alabama's not cheap at all. They're smart. They're not cheap. They're smart. They will spend big money if they feel they're getting a big-time player. But I think Jordan Seaton, because of the massive interest, will end up overpriced. He'll end up overpriced.
No doubt.
I mean, and it's sort of like Shohei Ohtani, right? You're getting the best player in baseball. He needs to be the highest paid player in the game. Are the Dodgers overspending? Probably, because I don't think anybody else in Major League Baseball, except maybe the Yankees, would spend what the Dodgers are spending on Ohtani, and he ends up being, quote, overpriced. I think Seaton is the Shohei Ohtani here. I think it's Dodgers Yankees for him.
But it should be noted the Dodgers have won the last 2 World Series, right?
It should be noted that they do.
So yeah, I mean they're getting what they pay for, and if they're overpriced, it's hard to say somebody's being overpaid when you're you're winning the crown.
Yeah, they are. And Ohtani is the best player, in my opinion. He's the best baseball player of all time. I guess that's another show, but I'm just saying that
another show. You can bet your ass on that. So.
I'm just saying if you put together teams in Major League Baseball payroll, teams 5 through 12, which are obviously good spenders, they're in the top half of the league. I don't think I think you'd come up with a price for Ohtani teams 5 through 12 that would look far south of what the Dodgers and Yankees would do. I think with Seaton, put it this way, I'm picking out a figure here. What would you pay for the best non-quarterback in the sport? I'm thinking somewhere around $2.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Alabama would pay that, but I think Seaton's going to cost something like $4 million or something absurd.
Yeah.
So Alabama's not going to do that.
If Saban, I hate to say it this way because it sounds like a dig on DeBoer, and that's not what I mean. But if Saban were still at Alabama, I think there may still be a Saban discount, just not quite as large as of a Saban discount. But I think one thing that would hurt the Saban discount now, if you're Alabama or any of these teams like an Ohio State or Notre Dame, the bluest of the blue bloods, is Indiana's about to win the national championship.
Yep.
So whereas, I mean, look, Indiana's getting as much exposure as any team there is in college football right now. I never thought I'd see the day, and part of me likes it, part of me doesn't. But I'm saying that it used to be if you're Alabama, Texas, USC, you say, hey, we're us and they're them. Well, now you can sort of make a case that some of these other teams like in Indiana with the right combo of stuff can make a move that, frankly, they couldn't have made too terribly long ago. But now the other thing I think is really smart about Jordan Seaton, I think his timing is good for him because I think instead of getting in early, I mean, you could make the case that if he got in early, he would have longer for people to bid or whatever. But now he's getting at a time when I think some teams are going to panic buy.
Desperation.
Mhm.
Desperation. He's getting in when teams, heck, even in Alabama, needs a splash late. And maybe they've saved money because they didn't sign Cam Coleman. They didn't sign Peak. They didn't sign some other targets. And everybody's they generally have Smothers. They generally have the same money to spend as everyone else within reason. And heck, there's already 3 subjects we've touched upon that could do a whole show. But apparently, CSC, College Sports Commission, is launching investigations this week into teams violating the NIL rules about what you can pay. And
who knows? I mean,
it'll be interesting to see. I mean, this is the first time that CSC has been involved. It's a private party. It's not the NCAA, and everyone agreed to abide by the rules, and everyone agreed to the penalty structure. So let's see what the CSC does, if anything. I understand people having doubts that this just feels like another NCAA thing. Maybe that proves to be the case, but I think we should give them at least one chance before we flush it.
I'm with you, and I didn't mean to be sarcastic necessarily.
No, I get it.
Saying, but I'm in the believe it when I see it mode. I mean, Come on, if they do something now, I'll be the first one to say, man, I read that wrong, and I'm thankful. Even if Alabama were to be one of the ones that got slapped on the wrist, I would be like, okay, as long as we're all doing this, and if we are going to have legitimate penalties,
if everyone's treated the same,
because there's no doubt some people are abusing the heck out of this, and I mean, you know who it is. I mean, and
it's the big spenders. That's obviously who they're looking at here, and in terms of what the issue appears to be is guaranteeing large amounts of NIL money before the deal has passed through NIL Go. That is a violation if it's happening. Now, I think these schools are going to say no money's been guaranteed. These are just merely projections. And if they are projections, they're projections. The problem is the way it's portrayed to the fans at home is Brendan Sorsby's getting $5.5 million.
That's right.
It doesn't say if Brendan Sorsby goes to Texas Tech and they're able to do all the deals for him they say they can get done for him, then it will be $5.5 million. That's not what the media reports. They just say Sorsby to Texas Tech for $5.5 million, and then everybody attacks the new process, and so we'll see what CSC comes up with. Are these projections or are these guarantees?
All right, so yeah, I mean, we could, again, that's a whole nother podcast about the potential penalties here and there. And part of me is like, if Texas Tech has a billionaire that wants to promise a bunch of NIL to all these guys, then so be it. But part of me is like, that does go against every spirit of the rule. And I'm tired of everybody going against the spirit of the rule, Alabama included, if they're doing it. Now, I want to give you some names that I think were interesting. Not all, again, these are not all Alabama related, but Alabama adjacent. I don't think we mentioned yesterday that Jalen Hill is going to SMU. That makes sense. He's from Texas. And I mean, I like it for him. I think that's a good move. And I think he'll be hell on wheels there.
Yeah. No, I love the choice. I love that he went home. I love that it's Power 4. Gosh, there are SMU wide receivers in the NFL. Good program, good offense for him. Rhett Lashley, they throw it around a lot.
Jamie French left Texas. He's headed to Michigan. Of course, Jamie French was committed to Bama. He was one of the first to decommit when Saban retired, if I remember right. And so I just found that interesting. He's in the portal. And also, he didn't really make much of a move last year. So maybe we didn't really miss out. Wendell Gregory, who had at least been loosely tied to Alabama from Oklahoma State, I find it interesting. He's going to Kansas State.
He was weirdly sized for an outside. Generally when you're looking for that wolf type guy, ideally he's 6'3", 235, 6'3", 240. He looks like Yonze Pierre. This guy's shorter, heavier. I think he's a scheme fit thing, although highly, highly productive at Oklahoma State.
Shazz Preston, who was at Alabama from New Orleans, I believe, ended up transferring to Tulane, and I thought he did okay at Tulane. He is now transferring to Indiana. That's
fascinating.
That is fascinating, and that is interesting. He might make some noise there.
Boy, he fits the profile, right? I mean, fits the profile because Indiana, what do we think of? Older guys that aren't, quote, high profile. I mean, I think a lot of Alabama fans have forgotten Shazz Preston, forgot that he went to Tulane, didn't notice it. It's not like he had a 2,000-yard season, but he was good. He was good. You get to where, boy, you trust Indiana's evaluations right now. You just trust them. It doesn't have to be a noisy signee. I think this is just typical Indiana, and we'll watch him do well. Older kid by now. I mean, Shazz will be a fifth-year guy, so that's their wheelhouse.
You know what it is to me is sort of like everybody hates on Lane Kiffin now because he hasn't turned back into a jerk, it seems like. But I trust his quarterback evaluations more than anybody, and they got that guy from Elon who looks really good, and they got Trinidad Chambliss, who everybody's like Division II, okay, whatever. He turned out to be maybe the best quarterback in the country. Quincy Porter, who was
one thing on Lane. Ready for this? I think. Let's see if you agree with this. Lane at Oxford, national, hugely popular. Everyone loved Lane Kiffin, Oxford. I think everyone will hate Lane Kiffin, Baton Rouge.
And at Oxford, he's Luke Skywalker. In Baton Rouge, he's Darth Vader.
That's it. I mean, I think his national reputation is now Darth Vader. When he had won everyone over, he won everyone over. They did that documentary. Everybody, he's funny on Twitter. I think Lane turned most of America off. I think right now the only people that love Lane Kiffin, LSU fans. And
that's just the way I think he wants it.
Maybe so.
I really do. Okay.
He's going to win. He's going to win. I know he's going to win.
Too. Iverson Hooks. A lot of people may not know this name. Let me tell you about Iverson Hooks. He was at Reeltown, and man, he was just he was the quarterback there, and he was just a do-it-all guy, just super athlete. Ended up going to UAB, which I thought was a little beneath him. And now he's going to Oregon. I would have loved for Alabama to have given him a look.
Almost crazy to me that Alabama didn't. Now, here's one thing. I told this because I got an immediate text about that from like, why wouldn't we offer? I don't know. Alabama's name was never associated. So as far as I know, we've had zero conversations. But this does happen. Alabama values these kids and assigns a value to them. Either we call him or they call us. And in the very first conversation with the agent, with the kid that we valued at $150,000, and the agent's like, yeah, I think Alabama would be a great fit. You know, we're looking for something in the 500 range. Well, then that's the only phone call that's ever going to happen. So could be something like that. Could be. I'd have no idea, but Alabama's name not associated. And it is kind of weird because a need for Alabama, he's 45 minutes up the road, ends up signing with Oregon, clearly a super elite program. So in the absence of facts, we assume. and usually wrong. But I'm just saying, sometimes it never gets past the first phone call because of a gigantic money discrepancy.
Got to get through these other ones really quickly. I do want to say this, though. Oregon has certainly had a lot of Alabama dudes, and some of them small, like 1A, 2A, 3A Alabama dudes of late. And some of them have done really well. That wide receiver that transferred there, he ended up going to Tampa Bay. He's doing well. All right. Some other ones really quickly. Quincy Porter, I don't know if I said him earlier. He's at Notre Dame now. I talked about, hey, I'd love to have Quincy Porter. Well, he's transferring from Ohio State to Notre Dame. Cedric Baxter from Texas went to UK. I thought he was tied to some other guys, but again, another big UK pickup. I'm telling y'all, this UK game, and we're going to talk about this in the next segment, is getting scarier and scarier to me. I'm not picking us to lose or anything, but it ain't going to be a walk in the park. Want to tell y'all about Wayfair because it's awesome. Doing some restructuring and moving around at my house right now, unbeknownst to me in some of the cases. But New Year is here, and it's the perfect time to reset your routine and refresh your space. If you're spending more time at home, you might as well love how it looks and feels. That's right. That's why you should turn to Wayfair. It's a one-stop shop for getting your home back on track. From bedding and mattresses to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair makes it easy to start the year fresh. Wayfair has everything you need for a full home refresh, all in one place. Whether you're updating your living room, organizing your space, or upgrading your work from home setup, Wayfair's huge selection makes it easy to find what works for your style and your budget. Shopping is easy, delivery is smooth, and everything arrives just as expected. Get organized, get refreshed, and get back on track this new year for way less, y'all. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things homes or home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style and every home. Okay, I want to talk about, I'm throwing a curveball in here because I was going to talk more portal stuff, but something dawned on me about the future schedules, right? Mm-hmm. So I just told you that Kentucky's kind of loading up. Mm-hmm. Vandy's not necessarily going anywhere. I mean, they got they got Owen Cabell, they got Cole Adams from us, they got some other transfers. They're doing all right in the portal. I mean, they're not kicking as much butt as say Kentucky is or LSU or Ole Miss, but they're doing pretty well. South Carolina just picked up a running back from somewhere. I mean, South Carolina is now, I don't know, depth-wise, I think they're going to have some issues, but like first 10 players, South Carolina is going to be as good as just about anyone. I mean,
like they sort of do it like Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
They get big names and give them big money, but of course it burns up all the money. So the depth isn't there.
So as long as nobody gets hurt, it's fine, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. With Quay Russaw and James Smith committing to Ohio State, somebody noted on Twitter, like, boy, I hope we get a shot at them in 2027. And I was thinking, first of all, neither one of them is going to be there in 2027. They're both going to be in the NFL at that time, I would assume.
Certainly.
Secondly, I don't know that game's going to take place anymore. And I don't know that I want it to. And before you say, I'm not scared of anybody, why are you pussing out on this? I'm not. But look at it this way. I'm all for scheduling a Ohio State. I really am. And I think those games are so much fun. But it hurt Texas this year.
Yeah.
It hurt Alabama this year. I mean, if Alabama had played, Alabama A&M instead of Florida State, there is no doubt Alabama's in the playoffs.
Yeah. Now, might have had a better seed. Might have had a better seed. Might have had a better seed. And yep.
So, and I'm looking at Indiana. I mean, Kirk Cignetti, who everybody believes is the best coach in the country at this very moment, he has said, hey, we're not going to schedule anybody else tough. We got 9 games. We got plenty. So if we're going to allow Indiana,
he'll schedule Florida International 3 times. We play Florida International 3 times next year. That's what he would say and get away with it and then be the number 1 seed.
And everybody say, oh, he's a genius. So why should Alabama or Texas or LSU or Ohio State penalize themselves? And again, I want it to be known, just like Jimmy and I also say, let's get rid of the SEC championship game, because the talk is that we're going to go to 16 teams potentially, maybe even next year. Probably not next year is my guess. And the Big Ten even wants to go to 24, which I find just ludicrous. And that's why I was against expansion to begin with. Everybody told me, oh, let's just go to 4. Okay, let's just go to 8. Let's just go to 12. Now we're at 16. Big Ten wants to go to 24, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But what I think we need to do, I love the SEC championship game. Maybe my favorite game of all time is the 2018 SEC championship game. And the 2012 is way up there. But why should we have to do that? Because, again, that hurt Alabama this year. That hurt BYU. It could have hurt SMU last year. It helped a bad Clemson team. I'm saying I think if we're going to go this route where it's playoffs or bust, then we've got to just get out of the line of thinking, hey, we need to win our league, in the SEC championship game. Think about it this way. The Philadelphia Eagles won the NFC East, and nobody gives a rip because they just lost at home in the first round of the playoffs. Nobody gives 2 rips that they won the NFC East. Nobody cares. Nobody even talks about it. So maybe we've devalued that so much. And I want to say again, I know I speak for Jimmy on this, We love the SEC championship game, and we think SEC championship should mean something. But the powers that be have made it where they mean nothing.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, it's a playoff or nothing mentality. Whether it starts with the administration and people that run the sport or the fans, as well. It's just the playoffs and everything else means nothing. And it's a real shame because I'm a bigger fan or a huge fan of the regular season. And every time you expand the playoff, you ding the regular season. College football used to have, maybe still does barely, the best regular season in all of sport in America, college football, because of the pressure to win every single week. Now it's been watered down, and if you go to 24, it just sort of wrecks what college football was special in the first place. And now average football teams will be playing in the postseason. And I just absolutely hate it. And as far as canceling Ohio State, I agree with Luke 100%. There's no logical reason to play those type games when the committee does not reward you for them. The committee, to this point, has not treated strength of schedule and who you beat nearly importantly enough. Even in a year they were specifically told to emphasize it and made to emphasize it, they didn't. And there's no reason to play Ohio State. It's suicidal. It's suicidal with no upside. Just cancel them and play Slippery Rock. It's the logical, smart thing to do if making the playoff is what's important.
Yeah, there's no, and again, Jimmy, we are not backing down from playing them. We want to play those games.
I would rather live in a world. Where Alabama plays Ohio State and it's an awesome game and everyone around the nation enjoys it as they watch other big-time non-conference games on their Saturdays, and it would just make college football so awesome. Blame the committee. Don't blame me and Luke. Don't blame Greg Byrne for canceling it. Don't blame Greg Byrne for canceling it. Don't blame the committee. Blame the committee. Blame them. They're the ones at fault, not the schools, administrators, us or the fans. It's their fault for not emphasizing strength of schedule in the selection process.
One more thing to say about all this. I had one more thing to say about it, and I'm talking about it just went. I'm going to think about it right as I'm reading this live read for Game Time. It's going to make me mad when I think about it too. I do know. I'm going to say it really quickly. So if we go to, some people out there want to go to 24 teams. If we go to 24 teams, I want to tell y'all something. We're going to not only lose the SEC championship game, we'll probably lose one more game because the calendar isn't going to allow for it any other way. So that one game against, easy win Tech that you used to be able to afford to take your family to, not going to be able to do that anymore. So anyway, that was my thing. Game time. There's nothing like college football season. Jimmy and I didn't exactly sell college football season last segment, but the tailgates, packed stadiums, and being right there in the middle of it all, the energy, the bands, the moments you remember forever. But actually getting tickets, that part used to be frustrating with long queues, logins, and prices jumping up at checkout. Tell y'all something. I just got my last Alabama basketball tickets from Game Time. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, no problem at all to get in. That's why Game Time gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to unlock amazing college football tickets and experiences in just a few taps. Look, I opened the Game Time app just to look at some other college football stuff. And yeah, the Miami game is expensive, Miami, Indiana. But you know what? Game Time's got the best prices, and you can see where you're going to sit if you're interested in going. The app is incredibly easy to use, and Jimmy can use it. I went from browsing to buying tickets in just minutes. It was super easy. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply because they apply to everything. Again, that's code LOCKEDONCollege, all one word, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. And then tell us how much you love it. A few quick notes before we just talk a little bit about Bama basketball night. Congratulations to the Texans and D'Amico Ryans and Will Anderson. And Henry To'oTo'o. That defense, salty. I mean, boy, is there a team that personified or I guess I don't know how to say that. Is there a team that resembles a coach more than the Texans? Because D'Amico Ryans was that guy on defense. Some people that listen to this show aren't old enough to remember D'Amico Ryans. Look, he ain't the best linebacker in history, but I'll tell you what he would have been. He would have been a Saban bot.
Yeah.
Like downtown Saban bot. Like, oh, God, if he had been in Saban's system, I mean, I'd give up.
A handful of guys pre-Saban that would have been just so. But hey, D'Amico was good enough without Nick. He was one heck of a football player at Alabama.
You overcame Shula.
I couldn't be happier for D'Amico, who's just first ever head coaching job, and he inherited a not a great franchise there, and now they're not just in the playoffs, but a real threat to win the AFC and go to the Super Bowl. Fun stuff.
Yeah, and I think he's been the coach. I think he's been in the playoffs the last 3 years, which is a Texans record. I mean, the Texans haven't been around that terribly long, but still it's a big deal. And Will Anderson with another strip sack, and Will Anderson after the game with Scott Van Pelt said something. You know, Scott Van Pelt was like, "Y'all are pretty good." And y'all got who have they got coming up? Oh, they got the Patriots. And they're like, "Man, you got a shot to do." And Will Anderson said, don't worry, Coach Saban, I'm not buying into this rat poison. And, I mean, I love that. I mean, Will Anderson is a gumpy gump. And I love Will Anderson.
One of the greats, one of the best players in the NFL, to the surprise of zero Alabama fans.
Correct. First team All-Pro along with Will Reichert.
Yep. Now that's more surprising, but not really. I mean, Reichert really turned a corner late in his Alabama career, and I would say that I'm shocked, but I'm really happy for Will.
I also want to give a shout out to the Bama basketball women. Only one loss. I think they're like 17-1, something like that. And they went on the road and beat Missouri last night. They've got some tough games coming up, obviously. I mean, the SEC is the SEC, but their one loss is the South Kakalaki. So if you got one loss and it's only to South Carolina, you're doing pretty good things.
What a remarkable job for Christy Curry and her program, because they lost 2 WNBA players off last team. It would have been completely understandable for a rebuild this season, a step back, because it's not often that an Alabama loses 2 players to the WNBA. They didn't take a step back; they took a step forward. That's a good ascending program, and fans need to be more supportive. Y'all need to go to those games. It's not expensive, and they're fun, and those girls are really good, and they work at it.
I do love the fact my daughter, who's a good basketball player in her own right at 9 years old, she plays for the Birmingham Mambas with the third grade team. It's like a big deal, man. Mountain Brooks and the Birmingham area's got that. They got this youth basketball thing down pat, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, Sela did a crossover the other night. I was like, at 9 years old, I mean, I didn't even learn what a crossover was till I was 18. But anyway, so one more thing, ESPN came out with an NBA mock draft. LeBaron Philon going at 15 to the Warriors, which I would hate because I think the Warriors are on a sort of downward trend, and also they're on the West Coast. But no Amari Allen, which I thought was interesting because some places have had Amari Allen in there, and I want Amari Allen for one more year. Give us one more year, Amari. Now, that said, Alabama plays Mississippi State tonight. And, man, we just can't get healthy, Jimmy. Tyler Bowen, doubtful for tonight. That is frightening. We need him. Mississippi State is – they're pretty good. They're not the best team in the country or anything, but they got a squad. And let me see. The line is Alabama -5.5. I'm going to tell you, I hate to be Debbie Downer here, but I would say take Mississippi State right now. Nate Oates came out and said LeBaron Philon is certainly not 100%. That he's not. That's why his shot wasn't falling the other night. If you remember against Texas, we were down. I think we were down 1. And LeBaron had pretty much a wide open 3 and missed it. And the LeBaron I know ain't missing that.
Yeah. Tonight, and the injury situation is this. I feel like tonight's game, Tuesday night's game, is critical because you can't lose 3 SEC games in a row if your goal is to win the league. You just can't have a 3-game SEC losing streak. yet the team is so banged up and not available to the point that it's hard to imagine them pulling this off without 100% fire line with Reitzel almost certainly out. Now, Bull Bowen, it's such terrible luck, I guess, in terms of how you could be missing all these guys. It feels like a critical game. Mississippi State's very good. They not only beat Texas, who just beat Alabama, they beat Texas in Austin. I mean, this is a really good, well-coached. They take on the personality of their coach. He's intense defensively. It's a critical game, but it feels a little bit like an uphill battle for Alabama right now.
Yeah, and you know how much I love Josh Hubbard. I was hoping, praying even, Josh Hubbard was going to get in the portal. Because I'm going to tell you something. You want to talk about a dude that thrive in our offense? Holy cow.
He can drop 40. He could drop 40 on you. It could happen. I mean, yeah, whoever's guarding him needs to be healthy.
All right, that's going to do it for today's pod. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.